Hello, welcome to Amy Nolte Music. Singers, do you ever wonder how to choose the key that you're going to sing your new song in? That's what we're talking about today. It can be kind of a tricky thing. Maybe you hear a recording that you really like and you think, oh, I'd like to sing that song. But maybe Ella Fitzgerald's the one who sings it on the recording you heard, and she probably sings a lot higher than you. Or maybe it's Diana Krall and she sings it lower than you, and you just can't quite sing along. Maybe you hear Frank Sinatra sing it, and he's a man. You're like, I can't sing it in the man key. So how do you know? Well, there's lots of ways to know. Everybody kind of has their own way of doing it. But my thing on this channel is that I give you something easy, something quick, and simple to understand so that you're going to be able to know right from the get-go. So here we go. Now, the very quickest way I can tell you, I'm going to show you some examples for those of you who want to stick around. But for those of you who just absolutely want the quickest way to find your key, this is what it is. You sing through the whole song, you figure out what the low note is, and you put it in your voice just about the lowest note you can hit. So if the song is Autumn Leaves, the lowest note in Autumn Leaves is the falling leaves, like that. So you're gonna want to put the as the lowest comfortable note you can hit in your voice. That's my quickest answer, all right? So if the song is I've Got the World on a String, the lowest note is I've got the world on a string. That might even be a little low for me. I might want to make it a tiny bit more comfortable, so I raise it a half step. I've got the world on a string. You want to sing all the way through the song and make sure that that is actually the low note, but it is the low note. That's your answer. You're going to put the low note, comfortable for you. Then you're going to be able to nail the rest of the song. That's my quick answer. Now stay with me for some examples and I'll show you more what I mean. What if you really like this song? I love this song. You're sitting there, you're listening to music, this song comes on, you're like, I want to sing that song. So, first step, sing along with Frank. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Come fly with me. Now that's higher than I like to sing, so already I'm thinking, dang Frank, that's not my key. There's a one-man band and he'll tune his flute for you. But if you're a soprano, this might be your perfect key. Come, because that's the low note. So I just went over to the piano and I played that low note. Once I get you, and it's a B. So that's all you have to do. You have to figure out what's the low note, go play it on the piano and say, could I go any lower than that and be comfortable? And if the answer is no, then keep it right there, sopranos. And if the answer is yes, like for me, if the low note's a B, I probably want my low note to be an F. So as an alto, I'm going to transpose it down a tritone. So Frank Sinatra sang it in B, that's actually his key. So my key is going to be F, which is nice. Now this brings me to my second point. Singers don't pick keys that are difficult for your musicians to play in. Now, the best musicians can handle any key, the very best of them. But there aren't that many of those guys. I can play in B, I can play in F sharp, but those are hard keys for me, and I'll tell you what, I won't be as comfortable in those keys as I will in some other keys that I play in all the time. So, comfortable keys for musicians are keys typically that have less than 5 flats or sharps, I would say, and maybe less than 4. So you've got the key of C, G, D. Those are okay. D and A tend to be keys that jazz musicians don't play in a lot because they have sharps. Jazz musicians, for some reason, like the flat keys. So let's go the other way around the circle of fifths. That time we went up. We went C and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to G and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to D. This time we're gonna go backwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to F. F is a very common key. We're going to go down another 5 to B flat, which is probably the most common key. Let's go down another 5 to E flat, which is fine. And I'd say most jazz players are comfortable playing in A flat as well. Maybe even D flat. But the other keys, not so much. So If you can pick one of those for your key, like say, like Frank Sinatra was Frank Sinatra and he had Nelson Riddle writing for him, so he could pick B and Nelson was just gonna, write it out for him because he's Frank Sinatra. But if maybe Frank was like taken down a couple notches and singing in nightclubs, he probably would have sang in B flat or C. Because half step, I mean, I guess it could make all the difference, but you want to be versatile enough where you don't have to say, I'm only singing in B, that's my key for this song. Anyway, that's my opinion. You might run into some vocal coaches who maybe aren't instrumentalists and they don't feel the same way. So yeah, I mean, if they want to come smack me around a little bit, let them do that. Let's listen to Billie Holiday. She's singing Yesterdays. Yesterdays. Comfortable for me so far. Yesterdays. I think we've talked about it before. You don't want to learn your melodies from Billie Holiday. Like, if you don't know Yesterdays, you need to listen to somebody else play it before you listen to Billie Holiday, because she won't teach you the exact melody. Sequestered. That's a little bit high for me. Olden days. Golden days. So we're gonna listen to the whole thing. We're gonna find what the low note is. Da 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 da. I think that's it. Da. I think that's the low note. Because then it goes da 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 da. I think that's it. Da. So go to our piano. What note is it? A flat. You might guess wrong. That's all right. If you guess wrong, you just find it. Okay. So A flat. That means this song. Well, how do you know? That's, my friend Rick Beato just made a great video called How to Know the Key of Any Song. And if you'd like to, if you're kind of a theory buff and you'd like to hear his take on that, it's a great video. You should look him up. Rickbeato. He's got a great way, and it's very, very thought out. My way is to just simply look at the end of the song. Just look at the last chord before the 2-5 that'll lead you to the top of the next chorus. 95% of the time, that's the key that the song's in. So this song's in F minor because that's the last chord of the song. You just sing the last few bars. For tonight I'm dreaming of yesterdays, da da da. And you can kind of use your ear too to just say, does that sound final to me? Yeah, that sounds final to me. Now, if your ear isn't that good, maybe more like 70% of the time is the first chord of the song is often what key the song is in. If it's hard for you to figure out, ask somebody. You can even send me a quick message and say, Amy, what key does Chet Baker sing My Funny Valentine in? And I'll write you back and let you know. But you find somebody who lives in your town if you can. That would be better. Now, I said that I want to make sure that you know that you can't just learn the melody from Billie Holiday. You can usually learn the melody from Frank Sinatra. He sings it very straight, but Billie Holiday rarely will. So how are you going to learn the melody to Yesterdays if you don't already know it? Well, this is how. I just went to Wikipedia on my phone. I typed in Yesterdays Wikipedia song. And of course it wanted to, correct me because it thought I was talking about Yesterday by the Beatles, but I wasn't. So I'm reading right here. It says Yesterdays is a 1933 song composed by Jerome Kern. Nice. And then it says that jazz musicians use it all the time. And then it says Irene Dunne performed the song in the film version of Roberta, 1935. That sounds like it was the first. Then it says that it was written for the show Roberta, 1933, where it was introduced by Faye Templeton. Next step, let's look up Faye Templeton. All right, I can't find it. But then it says that Irene Dunne performed it, so I looked that up, and I can find that. Now, it's probably going to sound like Yesterdays, most likely, because it's very old. But it's the first one, or one of the first ones. Oh, yeah. That's the melody. Those are difficult notes. Da, 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 da. You can guarantee that if it's in a show like this, and you're watching these guys, that it's gonna be authentic. She's gonna sing the notes that the composer wrote. I'm going to talk more about this later because I actually have some stories that debunk my method a little bit, but it's a good method. I'll tell you why another time. But that's how to learn the melody. Just go to Wikipedia, find out who wrote it, what show it came from, and listen to it and write it down. That's the real melody. Then you go back to your Billie Holiday and you say, oh, she sang it in F minor. Is that a good key for me? Sing along with her. If it's a little high, drop it a step. If that's still a little high, drop it another step. You just play with it. But the key for me, and if anybody asks me to play a song on a gig that I know, but I'm not very comfortable with, like that happens to me a lot, because if I've heard a song enough times, I can usually play it. I can get through it and figure out what the chords are right there in the moment. But if somebody requested, like last night, somebody requested "What Are You Doing the Rest of Your Life" by Michel Legrand. And I knew that the first note of that song is the lowest note in the song. So it was easy. All I had to do was say, what note do I want to sing for the first note? What are you doing the rest of your life? I found that on the piano and I determined my key really quickly. But if somebody requests another song, maybe it's Pennies from Heaven. You're just going to sing the song real quick in your head. Every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Oh, that's the low note. So then you think, okay, that's where I'm going to put it, because that's about right for me. La, I think that's an E. So, da, 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 da. It's a C, so I'm going to sing it in C. But really quickly, I worked out what my low note was. Now, if that was a little bit too low for me and I'd rather do it with a G as my low note, I'm going to think, all right, E, G, that's a minor third away. So if my song was in the key of C, I'm going to move it up a minor third. So instead of C, we're going to be in E flat. Hope it makes sense. If it doesn't, I'm sure you'll tell me. All right, so that's my quick fix for how to find your key, singers. You want to find your low note, put it in a comfortable range, and go for it from there. I hope that answers your question, and thank you so much for watching Amy Nolte Music. I will see you next time.